From Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II women's soccer coverage live on the ECC network. In today's non-conference matchup, the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on the Bloomfield College Bears. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, and I will be on the call solo this afternoon for CSI Dolphins women's soccer. And ahead of today's game, we do have a special presentation here on CSI Sportsnet. Episode 7 of the Dolphin Pod is going to premiere coming up in just a few moments. The episode recorded late last week on Thursday features myself and my Sportsnet colleagues Andrew Rotundo and Nick Bavona talking about the men's and women's soccer home openers last Thursday, along with a host of other topics, some goings-on here at the College of Staten Island around the summer, along with a brief look ahead at what's to come later this year with cross-country track and field, swimming and diving, men's and women's basketball, and much more. Without further ado, Episode 7 of the Dolphin Pod here on the ECC Network. This is CSI Sportsnet coverage of CSI Dolphins women's soccer. Enjoy the Dolphin Pod, and when I return, we will have the start of today's game between the Dolphins and the Bears on CSI Sportsnet. And welcome to Episode 7 of the Dolphin Pod here on CSI Sportsnet. It has been quite some time since our last episode, as we last brought you an episode of the Dolphin Pod back in early May as baseball was wrapping up their season amidst a late playoff push. They came up just short, and that brought the athletic season to an end at the College of Staten Island in May. But we are back for the start of the 2023 athletic season, and here at the College of Staten Island, we just concluded both our men's and women's soccer home openers. We have a bit more to talk about that occurred after our last baseball games. I know my guests are excited to talk about that as well as today's action. I welcome to the show for the first time Andrew Rotundo. He still needs a headshot on the Sportsnet landing page. Marquise left for vacation right as Andrew was on his way down to the office. So, Andrew, you will have to wait at least another week.
Yeah, I still have that silhouette up on the webpage, so definitely want my picture up there. I've been here now. I'm going on year 3 here, so, you know.
The silhouette certainly beats the Rangers logo we were going to give you. Had the Rangers pulled out their series against the Devils, we actually joked about it on the last episode of the Dolphin Pod, and one of my guests on that last episode of the Dolphin Pod was my second guest here today, Nick Bavona. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's great to be here for my second episode, I should say. But overall, a quick summer overall for CSI. You know, it feels like yesterday we recorded that last episode at the baseball field, but now we're back here today for soccer. Great day overall for CSI. They were able to get the win in the men's game. They tied in the women's game. Should be a great season for both of them.
Soccer giving us a lot to be excited about this season here today in the home openers for the women's soccer team and the men's soccer team. But before we get there, there's something I have to talk about from a few months back. We haven't had an episode of the Dolphin Pod since early May, as I mentioned before. And since then, we had 2 monumental intramural contests. Students against faculty and staff. If you missed it, shame on you. Talking to you, Andrew.
Yeah, I was across the country.
I know Nick can speak to this. And, of course, Sal Caruso, as always, doing a great job. Great atmosphere. Food post-game. We had 2 good games in terms of numbers. Unfortunately for the students, the results weren't so good. Nick, I left with my WWE title after both games. I'm still unbeaten in faculty staff contests. But why don't you talk about your experience at the games?
Overall, another great experience doing those faculty and staff games. We had the football game pretty much. I don't want to, say bad stuff about the students, but pretty much a blowout win. It really, I think we put up 50 points in that game, no? If I'm not
We were
mistaken.
close.
The students overall had a great experience at that game as well. And then we had our softball game, and that was another, unfortunately for the students, another blowout win for the staff. Overall, we had a great experience. Sal tried to help the students hit a home run, and Marquise, like, to his credit, tried to make a home run catch, but he just looked at it. He's like, nope. Overall, staff wins again. We're still the champions until proven otherwise, and we'll look to run it back this year.
This is my platform, so I have the opportunity to gloat in the football game. Receiving touchdown, rushing touchdown, passing touchdown, pick six.
Yep.
How did I get a rushing touchdown in a flag football game, you ask? Laterals
Right.
on fourth down. I took it to the house. My opportunity to hoist the WWE Championship up high in the end zone. It was a great time.
And I presented you with the title when you scored, too.
You did, and I appreciate that. We had a great time at the faculty staff games over the summer, but that's not all that happened over the summer. Now, you have to fast forward a couple of months, but Andrew can speak to this. He was in attendance for CSI night at the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. Dolphins baseball head coach Mike Morrow, of course, an assistant on the Ferry Hawks coaching staff, and he was presented with the Hero of the Game award, courtesy of the Ferry Hawks. So that was great to see. Was joined by some of his baseball players on the field pregame, members of men's soccer pregame. Danny the Dolphin threw out an epic first pitch that we missed because one of our colleagues arrived late. However, we will get a chance to see it again next week. CSI Night returns to Staten Island University Hospital Community Park on September 8th. But Andrew, why don't you talk a bit about CSI Night at the Ferry Hawks last week?
Yeah, Joe, and it was so great that they had to pick another day to do another one. It was well put together. It was a great great on field performance by the team, by the Ferry Hawks, to give the honor to the Dolphins, and everybody I think had a great time. We saw a lot of other athletes from the school. We saw some of the baseball team. We saw some of the basketball teams as well. So everybody got together. It was a great gathering for the whole school, and hopefully, the second one will be just as good, and if not better.
And it was great to see members of many different teams turning out, faculty and staff, of course, joining the student athletes at the game. But we saw many of them in the stands. And Nick, they even got a chance to take part in some on-field contests during the game. Now, there was one contest I'm not sure they could participate in. They had two guests, not student athletes, I promise, but part of it was to spin on top of a bat and then chug a beer at the finish line. Now, the students cannot participate in that and did not, but that was one of many contests. There were some more student-athlete friendly contests that our student athletes got to participate in, but a great time overall.
Yeah, overall, great experience there with the Ferry Hawks, and like Andrew said, should be another great time in the next couple of weeks for the second night of CSI Night at Staten Island University Community Hospital Park. Overall, though, it's been a great couple of weeks. We had that night there. We'll have another night in the next couple of weeks as well. And overall, CSI students are just having a great time. So it's good to see that.
Now, if you want to attend, what you need to put into your GPS is Staten Island University Hospital Community Park. How do I know that? I did drive when we went to the game on Friday. However, I also butchered that in our first game at the stadium. It is really a mouthful. I don't blame you, Nick, but that is what you need to put in your GPS. Once again, CSI Night Part 2 on September 8th at Staten Island University Hospital Community Park. Students, faculty, and staff can head to Dolphin Cove and claim free tickets by presenting your student or staff ID. Unless they've changed it. They did have will call tickets as well, but if you're on campus for the first CSI night, you were able to claim tickets. You do have to fill out a form. You can check out social media for CSI Dolphins. We're going to post the QR code tomorrow. Of course, our soccer game's wrapped up today. We're going to let soccer take center stage on our social media tonight, but tomorrow we will post the QR code for you to get tickets for CSI night at the Ferry Hawks on September 8th. But enough ado. Let's talk about the soccer games today. Women up first. Last season, it was a bit of a struggle for them to open the season. They found their footing a bit more later in the year, but I think given how they started 2022, 2023 got off to a much better start here today. Both teams had their chances. The Dolphins had early opportunities to take the lead, had a chance in that game late as well. St. Michael's played a good game. It was very back and forth. Both teams had control for stretches. Andrew, what were some of your takeaways from the women's soccer matchup that ended in a scoreless draw? Well,
right off the get-go, it was very quick, back and forth. That ball was flying. Everybody was in every which direction. And, it's surprising to me that game ended in a scoreless tie. It's surprising to me that the first half ended in a scoreless tie, to be honest, because there were just so many chances on both sides. And, to me, it was a goaltender's affair. It was a defensive affair.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the new hire for women's soccer. We had several new hires here at the College of Staten Island this past year, but Alex Mandoli, the new women's soccer head coach, he brings with him a new coaching staff and a lot of new players, a lot of turnover on both rosters, Nick, but we did see some standout performances from some of the new faces today.
And I think that's really going to be, the key for CSI as the season goes on. They're going to need these new faces to get in there and make sure that they can get some opportunities, whether that be in the offensive scheme of trying to get goals or just defensively overall. They had a really good defensive game plan today. They were able to hold them to no goals. CSI, though, could use a lot more shots on goals. We saw in this game today, only had 2, but this is a long season, so they have a great opportunity to get those shots on goal and get some team chemistry with these new players that they have.
Isabella Radavini and Nadia Evola combined for 8 shots of the Dolphins' 9. Of course, Radavini, a newcomer, Evola, a returner, and a captain for this Dolphins team. CSI took the field with 4 captains ahead of today's game. Evola, D'Amico, 2 of the captains, and then defensively, Mar and Albano, the other 2 captains. So CSI women's soccer, 4 captains. Men's soccer immediately followed. That game got off to a really big start for CSI Dolphins men's soccer. Nick, early in that game, the Dolphins took the lead by a pair of goals. We saw that in one of their scrimmages, but the CSI speed was really on full display today, and it helped yield 4 goals in the 4-0 CSI win.
And we saw Uzo a lot. I felt like every time the CSI got into their offensive zone, he was there making a play, whether they was going to be taking a shot on goal or just trying to set up one of his teammates. But overall, the Dolphins had a really good offensive game plan in this game today. Had 4 goals overall in the win against Bloomfield, and now they start off their season 1-0. A lot to look forward to as season goes on. You pitched a shutout as well, and you were able to control the emotions because it was a very chippy game. A lot of yellow cards were thrown out. Even a red card was thrown out. But the Dolphins were able to control those emotions overall in the game today, get the win, and now move on to the second game.
And that is a great point you make, Nick, and Andrew perhaps can talk a bit more about it. A very physical game. We had the official come up and confirm how many cards there were. There had to be at least 8 to 10 cards issued in that match today. A very physical match. The Dolphins maintained their composure. And you said it, Nick. The Dolphins, with a great offensive game plan that they executed in this game, they had 4 goals. They certainly could have had more than that. So many great scoring chances for the Dolphins in this game. It was a very impressive effort for them. And I think given how they played against Bloomfield last year, winning 1-0, to improve by 3 goals over a non-conference opponent they've met now the last 3 seasons has to be a very encouraging sign for this team to open up the season.
Yeah, and you can't ask for a better start than that. I mean, they had the Bears pinned for most of that game, and the Dolphins just kept coming in droves. They just kept coming in waves, and they were not stopping at the Bears, and it showed on the scoreboard 4-0. What a way to start the season. You just can't ask for anything better as far as team chemistry goes, moving forward. Game 1, after that, you just keep building off that.
And the last time that we were here on the Dolphin Pod, we were talking CSI baseball and their playoff aspirations. For CSI soccer, their path to the playoffs becomes a bit more clear this season, as now, instead of only 4 teams qualifying for the ECC playoffs, the ECC will qualify 6 teams. Given the new format, the Dolphins would have been the first team out last season. And Nick, we saw a lot to like from the Dolphins today. What stood out to you the most that will help the Dolphins outlast the rest of their conference foes and ultimately make a push toward the playoffs this season?
I think it's going to come down to keeping those emotions intact and making sure that you get those opportunities on the offensive side of the ball. We saw a lot of that in that game, and they were able to set up some good passes. And you're right, had a lot of opportunities to set up even more goals as the game went on. But they'll take the 4 either way. If they can continue to get those opportunities, play a good defensive front, and overall control the emotions, as I mentioned, they have a really good opportunity to make the postseason this year. And we saw it with the basketball teams last year. They had a lot of good fun in those postseason runs. The soccer team would like to do the same.
And we saw something else today in addition to the goal scoring by the men. We saw a couple of clean sheets in goal. Scoreless tie, obviously. Clean sheet for Brianna Dorr, who made 7 saves. Amari Thompson wasn't tested much until late in the game against the Bears. They did have a shot early that contacted the post. At the time, it was a 2-0 game. Thompson perhaps forcing that shot to travel wide, but nonetheless, clean sheets from both Dolphins goalkeepers. Thompson and Dorr both in their second seasons with the team. How big can they be in a push for the playoffs for this Dolphins squad?
Well, you got to give it to Thompson too. It's really hard as a goalkeeper, and this goes for sports of all kinds with goalkeepers, as far as hockey, soccer. It's really hard to stay sharp when you're not seeing all that action, to start off the game, and then all of a sudden you're seeing all this action, and you're getting it piled on, and it's really hard to stay sharp through all that and to stay sharp through the full game. And you got to give it to Thompson for staying that sharp throughout the full game and keeping the shutout alive.
And you're absolutely right, Andrew. Late in that game, they challenged Thompson a couple of times in the closing minutes. The Dolphins also challenged Purple Knight's goalkeeping a couple of times in the last 10 minutes of the first game. So both goaltenders, one on each side, of course, Thompson for the Dolphins and the goaltender Jenna Braun on the other side for St. Michael's, they were tested late in the two games today, and they did a good job to keep goals off of the scoreboard. Now, don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we do have more playoff potential coming up. Of course, the next season to start will be cross-country, track, and field. They've pushed back the start of their season until September 24th. Swimming and diving will get started in mid-October. But, of course, in terms of East Coast Conference playoffs, we have basketball. We don't know that much about the new crop of talent yet for these basketball teams, but we'll tease ahead to perhaps what our next edition of the Dolphin Pod will entail. Let's talk a bit about basketball. They do have the only East Coast Conference playoff experience of the varsity sports, of course, esports, a big championship winner, multiple-time championship-winning program, CSI Esports. Can't forget about them. We do intend to have a conversation with Alberto, but he's been dodging us here on the Dolphin Pod. He's a tough man to lock down for an interview. Very popular guy, hard at work, balancing the budget and making sure that the cash flows here at the College of Staten Island. But all kidding aside, esports has done a great job. We'll talk a bit about basketball. Of course, we have cross country getting started, track and field a bit later, swimming and diving. But for us here on Sportsnet, the three of us have extensive commentary experience covering basketball. Nick, what are you most looking forward to come basketball season in a couple of months?
I think overall for these two teams, you're looking at some of the guys that are returning and even the girls, they need to step up in more, even bigger roles than they did last season. You look at guys like for CSI overall, you lose Chris Velasquez this year. That's a big loss on the offensive side of the ball, and he's your point guard. Whoever can step up in that role and give the Dolphins an opportunity on the men's side, that's big for them overall, trying to get back into the postseason. For the women's side, it's really going to come down to this. You lose Gia Esposito, another, true heart and soul of the team. Now you're looking for someone else to step up into that role for the Dolphins. If they can find someone that can plug and play into their offensive scheme and get something going on the defensive side, because we saw a lot of good defensive plays from both of those teams last season, I think the Dolphins will have another opportunity to make the postseason this year. Just going to really depend on who steps up next.
Well, Nick, your memory does not fail you. We did celebrate Gia Esposito on Senior Day last year. She's coming back. She's enrolled as a graduate student. So the Dolphins will return their entire roster,
right,
barring any transfers. Now, the men's basketball roster has increased in size and stature. It's been told to me that some of their players have grown a bit in the offseason. The roster size has also dramatically increased. How important are those numbers for this men's team that late last season played some games with 7 active players, 8 active players?
Yeah, and it's going to be big as far as health goes, and as far as just staying with the game. Having only 7 or 8 players to play the entire game is, that's going to get to them very quickly. You want to have that backup. You don't want to have that good bench to rely on in basketball, and that's what the Dolphins are going to have. And as far as physicality and size, like you said, we saw some of the tenacity that they have and the physicality, and if they can get more of that on the court and keep it in check, that could be big for them going forward.
The Tournament of Heroes for men's basketball and the Women's Basketball Conference Challenge will tip off on the weekend of November 10th. So be sure to join us here at the Tank for that and to tune in live on CSI Sportsnet. Now, there's a reason that I jumped over swimming and cross country, and I'm now going to circle back. First, with cross country, there's been a lot of transition going on with the program. Akil St. Louis returns to the College of Staten Island as the new head coach. We are still awaiting an official roster for cross country. Their schedule is available over at csidolphins.com, so you can check that out now. More information to come on the cross country, track and field program on our next episode of the Dolphin Pod. However, we're saving swimming and diving for last because a change was announced over the summer. Right after our season concluded here at CSI, it was announced that swimming and diving will now be a part of the Northeast 10 Conference. So big news for them, as the Dolphins did host the CSI Invite last year. That included participants from the NE10 and from the ECC. But this year, the Dolphins will participate as part of the Northeast 10 Conference, and that gives them a Division II conference to call home, something that's huge for them. Of course, I've been involved in covering the Mets championship, but it's great to see that big news for the program now part of the NE10.
Moving up and getting into that type of a schedule is huge, and now getting more of these opportunities as you keep moving on up and getting even better competition potentially overall. So for CSI, it's now really going to be seeing on the next couple of months how they do with this new level of play and how they, go up against these, competitors, and if they can, get up to the challenge and, fight the adversity.
Certainly an exciting time for the swimming and diving program. Very exciting time overall here at the College of Staten Island. As I mentioned before, swimming and diving season will begin in mid-October. We do stream the meets live. We do not provide commentary for those meets, but you can catch all of our swimming and diving meets live on CSI Sportsnet via the ECC network. Stream information for all of our broadcasts from the start of the season all the way until the end of the season is currently available at csidolphins.com/CSI Sportsnet. With the exception of swimming and diving, we have to test out some technical components of the broadcast over at the pool. But once we have everything sorted out, we will get our stream information published over at csidolphins.com/CSI Sportsnet. Now, this episode of the Dolphin Pod is going to debut ahead of Sunday's women's soccer game. So if you're tuning in ahead of Sunday's game against Bloomfield, you will be checking out this episode of the Dolphin Pod for this first time. We thank everyone for checking us out pregame. And of course, you can view all episodes of the Dolphin Pod on demand over at our CSI Sportsnet YouTube channel. Andrew and Nick, as a thank you for coming on as my guests, each of you get the final word. Who wants to go first?
I'll leave it up to Andrew.
Okay, well, I'll get the final word. Just thank you for having, me and Nick on, and it's been a fun time, obviously, and it's been fun here at CSI, and I think we're looking at some more fun times coming up with more soccer and going into basketball season and baseball season as well.
As a reward for coming on, I promise, Andrew, when Marquise returns from vacation, we'll get you a headshot. Nick, what do you have to add?
Overall, it's going to be the next couple of months will be great here at the College of Staten Island. Looking forward to seeing how all of these teams and how we see some of these new players fit into their new systems and help the Dolphins maybe make that postseason push. Should be a next great couple of months overall here at CSI. I'm looking forward to it.
Exciting times ahead here at the College of Staten Island. Soccer season is upon us. Cross country to follow. Swimming and diving, basketball, baseball, softball, track and field, of course, as well. So much more to look forward to. You might get a chance to meet us if you attend the CSI night game at the Ferry Hawks on September 8th. So my final word to the audience, be sure to join us at Staten Island University Hospital Community Park on September 8th. You might get a chance to meet the crew if you can find us. It'll be entertaining.
We might sign some autographs.
We do have to put a limit on what items we're willing to sign. You never know what people will show up with. We can't promise free autographs.
That's true.
Join students, faculty, and staff from the College of Staten Island over at Staten Island University Hospital Community Park on September 8th. QR code appearing on your screen shortly as we sign off for this episode of the Dolphin Pod. Once again, this is Joe Foreman alongside Andrew Rotundo and Nick Bavona from CSI Sportsnet. Thanks for watching. Joe Foreman back with you from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island. Just a bit late, as I was our public address announcer for the introduction of starting lineups ahead of today's game between the College of Staten Island and Bloomfield College. Dolphins come in having a draw on their record. That came in their first match of the 2023 season. Here today, they look for their first victory. The Bears take the pitch for the first time in the 2023 season here this afternoon. It is Brooklyn City FC Club Day here at Dolphin Soccer Park. As Evela looked to play that ball through, it's sent back the other way by the Bears. Castro waiting for it. After Brianna Dorr got the start in goal for the Dolphins' first match of the year, Sarah Villacres in goal for the Dolphins here this afternoon. Once again, Mar, Albano, D'Amico, Evola, wearing the captain's armbands for the College of Staten Island. It was a very back-and-forth game on Thursday between the College of Staten Island and St. Michael's. The Dolphins didn't get off to a great start in that game. St. Michael's got the better of the early chances. The Dolphins then responded with several shots consecutively. However, none of those were on goal. Still quality chances nonetheless. They failed to score. And in the second half, the Purple Knights controlled play for much of the final 45 minutes before the Dolphins put 2 late shots on goal in the closing minutes as they came very close to stealing a victory in that game instead. Both teams settle for the draw. 1 point in the standings, though, in a non-conference matchup. Doesn't matter all too much. Dolphins putting some pressure on here, down around the Bloomfield goal in the attacking third, but the Bears have it. Kolka on the challenge. Knocks it over the sideline, and the Dolphins will throw. Gabriela Castro to throw in for Adriana Melgar. Evola toward the far side. Uwe there waiting. This Bears team last season, 3-9-5. They play out of the CACC as the Dolphins had an opportunity there. That ball just a bit too strong for Carrara. These two teams were scheduled to meet last year. However, that game was canceled. Never made up. Initially, it was a postponed match, but these two teams never met last season as Radavini put the pressure on there, and Bears just able to get that ball away. Bloomfield with it in the midfield now. Mar nearly tripped over the ball, but the Dolphins do stay with it, and they possess it. Giveaway in the midfield now by the Dolphins. Strong challenge by Melgar, but able to keep possession there was Amador. And she does draw a whistle, so Bloomfield will attempt a free kick here. Free kick Bloomfield here in the opening minutes. That ball sent toward the top of the box, headed toward the Dolphins' goal. The Bears nearly with an opportunity, but Villacrest steals it out of the air. Have to get some paperwork passed along from next door. Villacrest will punt it out toward the midfield stripe, headed by the Bears, but a foul is whistled against Bloomfield, and the Dolphins will have a free kick. This is Mar. Now Castro. And Kolka was unable to keep it in along the near side. Throw in for Bloomfield. 5 minutes gone by in this first half. Still awaiting our first shot. Bears came awfully close off of that last free kick. Good dribbling there by List to avoid the challenge. Amador in between a pair of Dolphins, plays it to her backer. That's Alexis Hack. Looks like she's wearing one of those captain's armbands. Dolphins pressuring along the far side as the Bears send it across the midfield stripe. This is Melgar. Melgar crosses midfield, moving forward on the attack. Kolka sends it right back to Melgar. Castro making a run up the near side. Room in front of her, looking to cross. It's blocked by Hack, but the Dolphins will earn their first corner kick of this match. Corner kick Staten Island here. That's sent toward the center of the box and knocked in the air. Looking to head it is D'Amico. She cannot make contact. It's cleared away by the Bears. O'Neal working against Radavini, and Radavini takes the throw in quickly. Castro wanted Radavini. It's intercepted. Here come the Bears on the counter. Giving chase now. Wanjiku Muara, but she ran out of space along the near side. The Dolphins shielding her off the ball, and CSI will throw. Melgar heads it in the air before Bear gets ahead on it. That was Bradding Butler. Beltran sends it back. Ginyard sent it up the far side, a bit too strong on that ball, and the Dolphins will throw again. Throw-in goes to Albano. Melgar. Back to Marr. Now Castro moving forward. And a collision as Castro tried to play that ball ahead. Dolphins will throw. No foul on the play. That's headed toward Kolka, but she overran it by just a step. Got a foot on it, but a good clearance that takes a very friendly Dolphins bounce. Castro wanted D'Amico, who had to stay on sides. And now the Bears will look to counter again. Bradding Butler toward the center of the pitch is dispossessed by Evola. Evola wanted D'Amico, but once again the pass broken up. Evola for Radavini, who looks to turn, cannot. She was forced to contend with a double team. Here comes Beltran up the far side. Thank you. Throw in Staten Island here along the far side. Carrara far side. Challenged by Ginyard, and she knocks it over the sideline, and the Dolphins immediately take their throw in. Foot race toward the ball, and that was a dangerous play. Edward didn't get all of it, but got just enough to keep it away. Amador in a triple team has it taken away. That's chipped ahead toward goal, but making the play is Phillip. That ball's punted in the air out toward midfield. Headed by Evola, who decides to ditch the headband after that header. Castro retreating, plays it back to Marr. Pressure coming from Wanjiku Muara, but the Dolphins are able to get it out of their own end. Contact in the midfield, no whistle, play continues. And Hack got a foot on that. Good defensive play by Hack to prevent the through ball. Liss got that one by Radavini, but not by Evola. Evola moving ahead. Plays D'Amico through. D'Amico has room, one-on-one with the keeper, but the shot was broken up from behind by Liss. We'll get a second look at that one. Now keep in mind, we do have our audio on a bit of a delay here to coincide with our live feed. However, when we do send you a look at a replay, our commentary of that replay may be just a bit behind the action as we cut back to the Dolphins' corner, taken toward the top of the box. And here come the Bears. This is Wanjiku Muara, who avoids one challenge, but plenty of blue back there around the midfield stripe. No threat on that attack. We are still in the infancy of our utilization of the Huddle Focus camera atop our press box, and we're working on getting rid of the black bars near the top and bottom of the screen. That is the default camera angle that the Huddle Focus is set up with. We do not set up the camera. The only way to access those settings is to reach the camera's IP address via Wi-Fi. We are not connected via Wi-Fi here in the press box, and the Wi-Fi connection out here is too weak. So we're going to have to make some phone calls in order to get our camera recalibrated. We do hope to do that in the coming week. But that also impacts our audio, which isn't always in sync with the live action. Dolphins throw, and quick redirection by D'Amico for Kolka. She sends one toward the front of goal. The clearance is knocked down, and the second attempt on the clearance is successful. Dolphins will throw yet again as they're beginning to get the better of play these last couple of minutes. Bears had an early chance off the free kick, but the Dolphins have had by far the game's best opportunity, which was broken up on the attempt by D'Amico. Bears just trying to escape their own end, and that ball will certainly help. Room up the far side for Bloomfield, a good ball to set up this attacking play. Beltran has it, plays it back into the midfield for Bradding Butler. Amador moving forward, and her pass attempt broken up. O'Neal was her nearest attacker. Hack plays it ahead. It's redirected and sent away by Albano. Bears track it down once again. Dolphins swarming here in the midfield, and they do take it away. Melgar over to Kolka. Melgar avoids a challenge, moving up the near side toward the sideline. Looking to play Radavini through up ahead. Radavini working against the sideline. Hack her marker. Kolka crosses in front, and it's cleared away by the Bears again. Dolphins been aggressive on the attack early. That back line creeping across midfield as there's a good tackle by Uwe, but it looks like she was whistled for a foul. Or perhaps was fouled. And she was, so Dolphins will have another free kick from just beyond the midfield stripe. Albano to take it as we approach 31 and a half minutes to go in this first half. Albano with a good free kick, but just a bit too strong as her forwards tried to time that run. And it looked like there was certainly a chance there. Quality attempt on the free kick, and it will be keeper Phillip rolling it up ahead. Radavini immediately looking to put the pressure on, but Edward got it away. Evola able to dispossess Beltran, and now Evola chasing this ball down toward the corner, but it's a bit too strong. And it will be a goal kick for Bloomfield. Bears have been on their heels for the last few minutes, but they've done a good job preventing Dolphin shots. Officially, I don't believe that there is a shot in this game yet. Closest either team came was when D'Amico had it knocked away from behind in front of the Bloomfield goal. I don't believe she got a shot off there. Tie up along the far side as Ginyard looked to turn. Carrara all over her, but the Bears are able to move ahead. Quality touch there while spinning by Wanjiku Murara, but unable to corral it. The Dolphins did clear it across midfield. Ginyard pressured, and she is forced to clear it. Dolphins will throw. Under 30 minutes to play now in the first half. First 15 for the Dolphins against St. Michael's were quality minutes. Things began to turn the other way as that game approached halftime. But the Dolphins were able to manage the draw. Now Melgar could not get it to Kolka. Beltran toward the far side. She receives it back. Looking for somewhere to go with it as the Dolphins close in. Wanjiku Murara eyeing the far side. And here come the Bears into the attacking third. Dolphins continuing to stand their ground, and that ball was knocked down, and handball is rightfully whistled there. Crowd all over it. There's never a shortage of aspiring officials in the seats. A lot of eyeballs on every play today. Nice crowd for Brooklyn City FC Club Day here at Dolphin Soccer Park. Free coffee ahead of the game, though I hope it's iced coffee because it is hot today. Bears working in the midfield. Dolphins all over them once again. And Kolka goes down. Foul whistled against Bloomfield. Free kick, Staten Island. Albano will set up to take it. Her last free kick, a good one. She is flanked by Uwe and Castro, who will swap sides here. Marr stands right at the midfield dot. Dolphins lining up along the far corner of the box. That's where the ball is. And we have a collision. 2 Dolphins are down. And the ball is cleared away. The question is corner or throw? As it looks like a pair of Dolphins slow to get up. I believe D'Amico and Radavini were the 2 players down. We'll see if we can catch anything on a replay. Might be a bit tough from this angle. But we'll take a second look at that free kick in just a few moments as both players are up. Will remain in the game. Dolphins throw. Evola had it cleared away. Brading Butler on the clearance, and we have a whistle. And it looks like the Bears are going to be awarded possession. So we'll get a quick look at the contact that occurred at the top of the box. The 2 Dolphins appeared to bump into each other. Hopefully that gave our viewers at home a better look at it. CSI once again regains possession, looking to move into the attacking third, but Bears take it away. O'Neal lost her footing, gets back up. And the Dolphins do take possession back. Uwe moving forward with some speed here into the attacking third. Kolka down toward the corner. And a good sliding challenge there to break up that cross by Brittany Liss. Throw in Staten Island. Uwe will take the throw. And D'Amico marked closely as we have an offsides flag. Kolka called offsides. Free kick to be taken by the keeper, Mia Phillip. Or at least it appeared so, as Alexis Hack makes her way toward the penalty area, and she will send it away. Clock winds down toward 25 minutes to play here in this first half. Radavini with the takeaway. And she is down following the tackle by Beltran. Advantage was played, and the Dolphins are awarded a free kick. We'll get a second look at that challenge in just a moment, as Radavini went down and stayed down. There you see it with the advantage played in favor of the Dolphins. CSI now in a spot where they can certainly elect to shoot on this free kick. Question is, who is going to take it? Not sure if Radavini and Evola are discussing who's going to take it, or if they're giving Radavini a chance to take a breather here. That duo combined for 8 of the 9 Dolphin shots on Thursday. One of them may look to take the first shot here. And it will be Radavini, as that was emphatically blocked. Brading Butler got a body on it. That should go down as the first shot of the game. Unless the statistician believes that was a cross attempt. Good redirection by D'Amico, but too strong. Not a bad idea. But that ball had a lot on it when D'Amico made contact. Under 24 minutes to go in this first half as we approach the midway point of half number 1. Still looking for our first goal. D'Amico Sends one toward goal. Hack now sends it between a pair of Dolphins, but D'Amico waiting. Melgar plays it back to Albano. Albano for Carrara, far side Castro. Castro sends one into the box. It's whiffed on, and the shot is saved. Phillip able to make the save. And the Dolphins with their best scoring chance since the opening minutes. We'll get a second look at it in just a few moments as that play nearly became disaster for the Bears. Uwe moving forward into the attacking third. Got it away to Kolka. Kolka, cross. It nearly got through, and D'Amico was the first to it. I'm not sure if a Bear made contact with that one ahead of D'Amico's touch, but she was in great position to score. And once we have a stoppage in the action, we'll get a look at that last Dolphin scoring chance. Wanjiku Murara pressured in the midfield, had to give it up. Beltran turns. Moving toward the midfield stripe, she plays it ahead and draws a foul. And we're going to have a water break here with 22:06 to go in this first half. With that, we will take a brief commercial break, and we'll be right back with the rest of half number one. 0-0 our score between the Dolphins and the Bears. Joe Foreman back with you from Dolphin Soccer Park here on CSI Sportsnet. No score between the Dolphins and the Bears in this non-conference matchup. Free kick taken by the Bears. Immediately the Dolphins come away with it. Now, it does appear that our audio is having some issues with delay at the moment. What we're going to do is reset our broadcast at halftime and see if that corrects the issue. But right now, based on what I'm seeing in our audio readings, it looks like we have quite a bit of delay. And we'll see if we can get that fixed at the start of the second half. About 21 and a half minutes to go here in half number one. Dolphins throw in. It's headed by the Bears. Each team still looking for their first goal of the season. Dolphins did not score in a 0-0 draw on Thursday. The Bears playing in their first match of 2023. Not a very long trip for Bloomfield. As for the men of CSI, they traveled to Massachusetts today. They face Assumption University. That game just got underway. We'll have updates on that score during the second half. Albano toward the far side. Castro for Melgar. Melgar look to switch play toward the near side, and Uwe has it. Working against O'Neal, moving to the attacking third now. Radavini with some room to cross. The cross is through and a bit high. That one just cleared some traffic. Dolphins still have it. Rodriguez, immediately upon entering the game, attempts her first shot of the season. And it will be a goal kick for the Bears as that one sailed wide. Rodriguez didn't play on Thursday. First reserve off the Dolphins bench here today. And you'll see that from time to time as class schedules sometimes may interfere with game days. Phillip played short. We're now inside of 20 minutes to play in the first half. And that's over the far side. Throw in Bloomfield. Bears will throw it short, and the Dolphins immediately take it away. Marr. Up ahead for D'Amico. D'Amico for Melgar. Melgar looking to work around a marker. And it looked like that was a shot attempt that was blocked. D'Amico wanted to play it toward the corner of the box. Her pass attempt was knocked down. Rodriguez will try and take it away. And she is dispossessed by Beltran. Melgar trying to win it back, and she does. Good defensive play by both sides. Dolphins maintain possession. D'Amico back to Rodriguez. Rodriguez looked to send one toward the box, and Beltran got the worst of it. Clock will likely stop momentarily. And we hope that Beltran is okay. Bears won't have anywhere to turn off their bench. If I'm not mistaken, they came with 11 players, though I believe they did roster 13. So if they need to give Beltran some time on the bench, they might be able to do so. The clock is officially stopped at 18:04. And the trainer may have to attend to Beltran here. So we'll give it a few moments, and if this stoppage extends beyond a minute or so, we'll take a quick break. The hope is that the ball did not contact the head area. That's always the hope. If it's a head or neck injury, the player typically will have to exit the game. But if it was just a ball contacting another part of the body from close range, it might sting a bit, could leave a bruise, but you'll be okay and hopefully able to stay in the game if you're Beltran. And it looks like Valentina is going to stay in, so it's going to be a drop ball when play resumes. And the clock begins running once again with just over 18 minutes to go in the first half. Just one shot on goal in this game. That belongs to the Dolphins. Uwe moving up the near side. Ball too strong for Radavini. Bears looking to throw. That's headed in the air by Radavini. Kolka got a foot on it. It's taken away. Dolphins putting the pressure on here in the midfield. And Beltran was able to keep possession with Bloomfield. Hack surveying. Plays it back to Edward. Carrara was challenging for CSI and didn't get there. Bears now across midfield looking to move into the attacking third. That ball on target for Wanjiku Murara, but Dolphins shield her off the ball nicely following that first touch. And Villacrest, who hasn't been very busy in this game, gets a touch here, sends it over to Albano. Just over 16 and a half minutes to play in half number one. On a day like today, you have to think the Dolphins with a deeper bench certainly benefit in a big way. It is very hot out there on the pitch. Hence the water break as Castro receives the pass off the heel of Rodriguez. And the Bears will concede a corner. Now, I'm not sure if they had to or if the Dolphins knew that Bloomfield was last to touch that ball. But now, CSI will attempt their third corner kick of the game. And a big opportunity here for the Dolphins to get on the board for the first time. We'll see how they look to play this one. We've seen quite a few set pieces here in this first half. The three corners, a couple of free kicks. Good ball. Knocked in the air and headed above the frame. Albano got a head on it, and we'll get a second look at it. And unfortunately, our camera does not give us a great look at it, hence the need to recalibrate those settings, but This is the look we have. And I'm not sure Albano was in the frame there, but she got ahead on it. Long throw, and Radavini, with a miscommunication there, thought Carrara was going to make a run toward goal. Nearly threw it away. Carrara off another throw has it. Now Radavini plays it off the foot of Liss. The Dolphins will throw again. Bowie very adept at those long throws. Sends one inside the corner of the box. Nearly misplayed by the Bears. But there was just enough spin on that ball to keep it away from Melgar. Rodriguez moving toward the center of the pitch. Looks to turn the other way. Good dribbling. And that's going to be a goal kick. Rodriguez petitioning for the corner. Does not get the call. We approach 14 minutes to go in half number one. Still no score between the Dolphins and the Bears, but Bloomfield hasn't had a quality chance since very early in this match. It came off of a free kick, but they've done a good job of limiting the Dolphins to just one shot on goal. I said it before, Bears with quite a few draws last year, 5 times. They had games end in a tie. And that doesn't appear to be good. Looks like a Bear is down with a leg injury of some kind. The whistle has yet to blow, and the referee will stop play. And this injury doesn't look good. The hope is that it's an ankle and not a knee. It's certainly a leg injury. I won't speculate any further than that, but it looks like this could be an extended stoppage as the athletic trainer is waved onto the field. So with that, we will head to a quick commercial break. 0-0 the score between the Dolphins and the Bears. Injury timeout on the field. Joe Foreman back with you from Dolphin Soccer Park as we hope that we have our audio issue fixed, and it appears that we do. So we took that injury timeout as an opportunity to get our audio situation sorted out, and we are back with you here on the ECC network. Still no score between the Dolphins and the Bears. Dolphins have it now in the midfield, moving forward on the attack up the far side, now toward the center of the pitch, and that ball knocked down in the midfield by the Bears. Rodriguez looking to turn again. Beat one marker. It's knocked up in the air. That was Taryn Hilke attempting the heel kick. Ball played through to the corner of the penalty area. Shot blocked. That was Radavini on the shot attempt. Being challenged by Banuelos. Help on the way from Ginyard as Radavini tries to work out of the corner. And the Bears do dispossess her there. Ginyard with a nice move to beat Rodriguez toward the far side, but Albano intercepts the pass. Bowie. Bowie into the attacking third. And a strong tackle there by Hack as that one's sent over the near side. Bears will throw. Dolphins did make some changes as well. Julia Nenska-Hopushovska into the game for CSI, along with Taryn Hilke, as I mentioned before. Hilke and Ina Kolka with a number swap. Hilke now wearing 14. Kolka wearing 17. That change is reflected over on our roster page at csidolphins.com. We also have live stats for every game. The link to our live stats and our game day preview each and every match. Home and road contests. Hilke wanted D'Amico. That ball too strong. Timing just a bit off there. Uwe into the attacking third once again with some speed. Wanted Hilke, the ball off target. And that's sent over the near side. Good footwork by our ball runner, Patrick Fleming. Get him a uniform. Kolka toward the center of the pitch for D'Amico. D'Amico fending off a challenge, could not. But Melgar nearly got to that ball first. Amador got a foot on it, sliding, and now the Bears have possession. Under 9 minutes to play first half. Still just one shot on goal in this match. Melgar has a lot of room here. Melgar wanted D'Amico. Second attempt on target, but D'Amico had to stop her run. Kolka wanted the ball back on the give and go. Radavini instead looked to turn, was dispossessed. But the Dolphins will throw. Throw in taken quickly. And that's sent toward goal and off the crossbar. Quality attempt by Rodriguez. Under 8 minutes to play is when we came back from our timeout. We did not re-enable our live replay feature, so can't get a look at that shot a second time. But thankfully our audio situation is fixed. And I can only imagine how frustrating it would be to listen to the entire game on delay, as that one had the Dolphins in yet another dangerous attacking position. That drew audible gasps from the crowd, as that's punted skyward a mile high by Phillip. Marr overran it by a step. The Bears have it on the plus side of midfield for the first time in quite a while here. And they immediately give it back. Rodriguez for Radavini. Radavini wanted Hilke. It was broken up. Ginyard battling with Radavini. Whistle and a foul against the Dolphins. The good news for the Bears is that despite the injury, they're still playing at full strength. They did not have to make a substitution. Lost in us scrambling to get back on the air before play resumed. We didn't see who the injured player was. The uniform number was never visible to us before we went to break. Free kick taken by Amador. Beltran met by two Dolphins. And that pass, nearly intercepted by D'Amico, is taken by Amador. Taken back by D'Amico. Uwe gives chase. She gets there. Strong tackle by Liss. Uwe stays with it. Uwe, Fernenska Hopushovska, too strong on the pass. And Phillip scoops it up. But good work by Ariel Uwe. That draws some applause from the CSI faithful. Under 6 minutes to play in the first half. Again, Phillip sends it skyward. D'Amico got a foot on it. Uwe. Now Melgar. Back to Marr. Albano. For Kolka, redirected far side, Rodriguez. She dribbles to the inside, moving ahead with some speed. Wanted D'Amico, couldn't get it to her. Rodriguez still in pursuit. And she forces the Bears to send it over the near side, where the Dolphins will throw in. 5 minutes on the clock. First half. And immediately that's headed over the near side. That will grant Bloomfield a throw in. Liss is looking for somewhere to go with it. That's headed in the air. Kolka working to get it back from Beltran. Could not. Now Liss. Hilke not far behind her. Hack sends it toward midfield. Nearest bear is Bradding Butler. O'Neal trying to get to it. Could not. Radavini plays it back to Marr. Now Albano. Albano moving forward across the midfield stripe, center of the pitch. Up ahead to Melgar, chipped in the air. Hilke the nearest Dolphin. Hack cuts off her angle to the ball. Hilke still in pursuit. And Hack will let it roll over the touchline. Goal kick Bloomfield. 3:40 to go. First half from Dolphin Soccer Park. Still no score. One shot on goal belongs to the Dolphins. I'll get the official shot tally in just a moment. We'll bring you some stats at the end of the first half as well, courtesy of Louis Matrone next door, our statistician in this one. That ball rolling into the penalty area, cleared away by Amador. Officially the Dolphins with 10 shots, 2 on goal, and 3 corners. Looking for another shot attempt here. They work it around. That's crossed in by Rodriguez and not on target. Bears yet to attempt a shot, yet to receive a corner kick. A couple of saves in goal from Mia Phillip. And that's all on the Bloomfield side of the ledger. Under 2.5 to play, half number 1. Phillip sent it toward Beltran, headed away by a Dolphin and taken by Amador. Bit of a miscommunication there by the back line of Bloomfield as the Dolphins look to throw quickly. Throw short to Uwe. Nenska Hopushovska had it knocked away. Hilke avoided a challenge. Now Melgar met by a pair of Bears. Albano for Uwe again. Uwe had her pass attempt broken up. Another throw up coming. It goes to Kolka, right back to Uwe, headed away. Dolphins will throw again. Under 1.5 to play in the first half. Whistle. And they're going to move Uwe back. And instead, throw-in is awarded to Bloomfield. 1 minute remaining in the first half. Throw-in bodied away by Beltran. Thought she was pushed from behind. She did not get the call. Physicality picking up just a bit here in the final seconds of this first half. Bears looking to keep this game scoreless heading to the break, perhaps. May look to steal one, but they have to get it out of their own end first. Dolphins will throw quickly. Under 30 seconds to play first half. And that's bodied over the far sideline by Hilke. Bears will throw and will likely just try and send this one as far as possible. They do. 5 seconds to go, first half. Dolphins moving in. And that'll do it for half number one. 0-0 our score at the halftime break from Dolphins Soccer Park. When we come back, the final 45 minutes in this NCAA Division II women's soccer non-conference matchup between the Dolphins and the Bears.
I feel like as a player, I've grown so much with this group and with my coaches, and my game has just elevated a lot more than it would have anywhere else, to be honest. So I'm just so grateful to be able to play with this team. And just being able to play in Division I soccer week in, week out, it's just getting the best of both worlds, having the opportunity to get a degree. You really have to appreciate what you have. And there's so many kids around the world that don't get these opportunities, so you have to take advantage of it for sure.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag, like facing backwards and look like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, we have a prodigy. So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. I loved the team. They brought me in like I was one of their own. The professors help out so much. They actually care about developing me, not only so I just memorize the material and able to take a test, but am I able to apply the information. I don't feel nervous asking them, hey, I'm not going to be in class, can you send me something? And they're completely fine with it and they understand, which is the best part. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do. Be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I'm able to go out and become president of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. SAC is consistent of like a ton of different backgrounds, and we'll come up with cool ideas for like fundraisings and having the opportunity to raise money for Make-A-Wish and knowing it's going towards a good cause. Not only motivates me, but it motivates the whole community. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
Dear soccer, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be in this position today.
Thank you for being something that is more than just my sport.
Soccer really is the beautiful game, and it will take you more places and give you more experiences than you could have ever dreamed of.
The people that I owe the most to are my teammates. They have been my crutch to lean on, shoulder to cry on, my hype woman in times of doubt, and my best friends day in and day out.
You get to wake up every day and play the sport you love at one of the highest levels at a prestigious university surrounded by your best friends. There is simply no better feeling.
You have given me my best friends, my most trusted mentors, and the most essential experiences of my young life. You are my community. With you, there is no race, no gender, no rich, and no poor. There is just a ball, 2 goals, and a common language.
Thank you for teaching me how to be a strong and courageous woman on and off the field.
Thank you for giving me hope for the future.
On the soccer field, I found a home. That is where I have always belonged.
I've learned a lot of things. I think one of the biggest things is how to cope with people, because I think that at the University of Virginia, and just as you keep moving on in life, you're going to keep meeting many more people. And I think all of the connections that I've made just at the University of Virginia they've become a big part of me. I think even the guys on the team, I consider some of them my family. I mean, I wake up in the morning at 6 in the morning, I'm spending time with them all the way up till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And I think that's one of the bigger things that I've learned is the relationships that I build with people, whether it be on the soccer field and off the soccer field, because even classmates at University of Virginia are some people I consider some of my best friends. And I definitely think connections with people and the bonds that you build with people that I know are going to carry on with me through my entire life, it's definitely some of the bigger lessons I've learned.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
I can't describe how much I learned as a player, but also as a human being, because you have to overcome challenges that you don't face in other areas. As part of the NCAA and obviously the college system itself, being a student athlete, there's so many challenges that not everybody else can relate to, and you have to try to excel in both areas. And now eventually you'll become a leader. Like in my case, I kind of had to step up into that role. And I feel like I've embraced that challenge, and now I love the spot where I am right now. I love how I've matured, become a leader, become the captain of the team, and hopefully I can help the rest of the guys win the natty.
I was the kid who would do surgery on my teddy bear and have my sister be my patient, and I would wear the stethoscope and the lab coat. I was that kid. Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Dr. News, who is the head of the biology department, definitely has had a huge impact over the past 2 years I've been in the lab. He took a chance on me and actually gives me the power to actually do things. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. I've had so many experiences with underprivileged people, and just seeing that they want the basic things that people get out of life. And if I can help in any way, that just kind of warms my heart. That's why I want to be a doctor, to serve those who have been dealt a bad hand. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him, and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. It was just because I bought into myself, because someone bought into me. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
Dear soccer, there are no words to describe my love, admiration, and appreciation for you. From the moment I was brought onto this earth, you were all I knew. You have been with me and have seen me from a young little boy in Brazil to a well-rounded man in America. From all the days and nights kicking the ball at walls, breaking everything at home and making my mom upset, sleeping with a ball under my arms, making fun of my dad for beating him by 1 goal, never imagined that he will let me in just to see me smile. You were there for me. You were there with me. When we are together, nothing else matters. It's me and you. It's like the whole world disappears. Everything goes away, and we just enjoy it. I have always given you my all, my very best. Soccer, you have brought me to a place outside of my comfort zone, gave me an opportunity to live out my dream, and introduced me to my mentors, my role models, and most importantly, my family. You have been my teacher, my biggest fan, my biggest critic, and my best friend. With you, I was able to accomplish milestones that I'll always be proud, experience moments that I'll never forget, make memories that I'll forever remember, and live the life that I always dream about. So thank you. Thank you for turning the little boy who used to break things into the house to the man that I am today. There are no words to describe my love, admiration, and appreciation for you. But there are words to describe the feelings that I have right now, playing in the Final Four, with the greatest team, the greatest coaching staff, with the greatest university, and with the greatest fans. Nothing will ever compare or measure up to this moment. We're not done. I hope to still have you with me for a long time and live many more great memories together. Thank you, soccer.
And we are back from Dolphin Soccer Park as the College of Staten Island and Bloomfield College knotted up at 0-0 to start the second half. Dolphins got the better of just about every statistical category in that first half, but the one number that matters is the number up on that scoreboard. And thus far, the Bears have kept the Dolphins out of the goal column. CSI already has played to a scoreless tie this year. And I think it's fair to say the Dolphins would not like to see that again here today, as it is, as I mentioned before, a very hot day, and the Bears come in, as far as we know, with no more than 13 players available. And they did not make any changes in that first half, and I'm sure it's not much of a help for those players out there that they're wearing black uniforms. I do not envy the players out on the pitch. It takes exceptional conditioning to play the full 90 on a day like this, and it looks like some of these Bears may indeed play the full 90 minutes in this game, if not all of them. We await the second half kickoff. The Bears will be attacking left to right in the second half. Dolphins attacking right to left on your screen. Now it looks like the Bears may have swapped goalkeepers here in the second half, which would mean that Mia Phillip moves to the field and Ariel O'Neill will take over in goal. So the goalkeepers appear to have swapped. See if I could find Phillip among the attackers, but nonetheless, the second half is underway, and the Dolphins, you can just see it from the jump here in the second half. They are eager to get on the scoreboard. Banuelos met by a pair of Dolphins, is dispossessed, and now CSI moves the other way. Albano for Uwe. Her pass broken up. She nearly took it back, and she does not allow Ginyard to turn. Bears awarded a free kick as Uwe was whistled for the aggressive challenge. Bears bench waving their players up the field here. This is Amador. Got rid of it to Ginyard. Ginyard retreats. Now Edward. Up ahead for Amador. Amador had a chance there to play Bradding Butler through. It was broken up, and Hack took that one right off the numbers. She took that one square in the back as the Dolphins off of that play look to counter. D'Amico making a run, nearly got to it in time. And the Dolphins wanted a whistle for a foul. They don't get it. And it's going to be a Bloomfield goal kick. We will get a look at that one momentarily. Goal kick Bloomfield. And here's a second look. There you see the tail end of that play. We'll back it up just a bit as we await this goal kick. Didn't look like D'Amico was going to have an opportunity there early on that attacking play, but a good ball to set her up. Gave the Dolphins another great scoring chance, as right now on the other end of the pitch, Alexis Hack is being attended to by the trainer and attendants from her bench. She took that ball square off the numbers. You could hear it from up here. That was some shot. It's been a tough day for the Bears out there in terms of injury. We've had more than one injury stoppage already. Clock was stopped at 43:27 for the injury timeout. Hack will jog over to the sideline and will wait until the next stoppage to check back in. Play resumes, and immediately Bloomfield clears it away. So that will allow Hack to get back in the game. Dolphins throw in quickly. Hack got a foot on it. Melgar was met by Amador, but Evola tracks it down. Marr, center of the pitch, working toward the far side. Gets it away to Castro. Castro, bit of miscommunication there. There's a good ball from Kolka. Two players tangled up along the touchline. I believe the call was corner, and the Dolphins will get their fourth corner kick of the game if that was the case. And instead, a foul was whistled right along the touchline, so it's going to be a free kick for Staten Island instead. And it looks like Melgar is going to take it. Golden opportunity here for the Dolphins. That was Radavini working along the touchline. She drew the contact and the whistle. Will also take the free kick. She sends one toward Evola. Top of the box. Shot in front. Redirected. And Albano follows it with the first Dolphins goal of the 2023 season. Emily Albano off a pair of deflections in front. Gets CSI on the board. And they lead it 1-0. We will get a second look at it momentarily as the Dolphins have taken a one-goal lead. It came off of a set piece, and here's a second look at that set piece coming up right here. There you catch the tail end of it as Albano slid down to the turf and put that shot in. We'll wind it back a bit further and get a look at that free kick attempt by Radavini. The assists officially announced as Radavini and D'Amico. But you know they'll come back and review the video to ensure that was correct. "1-0 Dolphins. Just under 42 minutes to play in the second half. And Has to feel good for CSI to finally break through as they put another shot on goal. And that was saved by O'Neal. Now, taking a look out toward the pitch, I may have just counted 10 players for the Bears. I'll have to double check that. But they may have 10 players out there right now. They do have 10, so they are playing one woman down right now, and that certainly impacts things. Had to double and triple check, but that's the case. So the goalkeepers did not swap positions. Mia Phillip came out of the game, and Ariel O'Neal took over in goal. But that put the Bears at a one-player disadvantage. The Dolphins immediately capitalize. This is Beltran now. Banuelos was dispossessed by Rodriguez. Strong tackle in the midfield there by Amador, but the Dolphins still maintain possession. Hack up ahead, knocked down by Albano. Evela lets it roll onto the foot of Melgar. Melgar looking up ahead. Radavini flagged for offsides, and we'll get a look. Well, the crowd did not like it. So hard to tell for us on our monitor. So close. But from the perspective of our camera, looks like the officials got it right. Hack for Kolka. She looks to work toward the center of the pitch. Melgar looked to work the give and go there. It was broken up. D'Amico for Kolka up ahead. Deflected. Uwe moving in. But O'Neal has it. And that deflection in the back, believed by Edward of Bloomfield, may have saved another Dolphin scoring chance. Rodriguez tracks it down. Albano plays it back to Villacres. Now Marr. Back to Villacres again. Albano moving forward. Wanted Melgar. Tight window on that pass. Ginyard. Got it over to Beltran, who avoids one marker but not a second. Beltran slow to get up, as that was kept in right near the flag. Good effort there by Banuelos. And now Bloomfield will throw. Throw goes to Edward. Edward being pressured. And Melgar got it away to D'Amico. D'Amico all alone on the breakaway. Has Radavini with her. Shot saved. Rebound off the crossbar. Another attempt is put in by D'Amico. And the Dolphins lead it 2-0. Shot number 1 saved. Shot number 2 off of the crossbar. Rebound and score by Jacqueline D'Amico as the Dolphins take a 2-goal advantage. Here's a second look at it. And D'Amico all alone. Shocking just how open she was as she leaked behind that back line of the Bears. And that was all for Bloomfield. They'll get the assists on that goal in just a few moments, but D'Amico will score, though there actually won't be an assist because of the rebounds. So D'Amico unassisted. Won't see many goals scored that way. Rebound off of the crossbar, straight onto the foot of the goal scorer in prime scoring position. But the Dolphins with a one-player advantage here in the second half have jumped ahead by 2 goals. Bears, given the circumstances, have put forth a great effort in this game, but hasn't been enough so far. However, Bloomfield will attempt their first corner here. Corner taken by Banuelos toward the near post. Looked like a shot may have been blocked. A lot of contact near the dot, right in the center of the penalty area. No whistle as play continues. Radavini can't get around Hack on that first touch and avoids the challenge. Was able to turn, could not find an open teammate. Albano for Uwe, just a bit wide. The Bears will throw. Evola for D'Amico. D'Amico for Melgar. Melgar giving chase, and Edward shields him off the ball as the shot goes wide. Melgar got a foot on it at the end of that attacking play, but sent it just wide of the post. Dolphins with chance after chance these last few minutes. And here's a look at that last one. Wasn't sure Melgar was going to get to that ball with a chance to shoot it. Looked like Edward had shielded her off the ball, but instead Melgar at the last moment was able to get enough of it to put a quality shot toward goal. However, that attempt was wide. Albano for Kolker. Kolker for D'Amico. She sends one down toward the corner. Radavini making a run toward the touchline. Sends one in the air, and it lands out of play. Goal kick coming up for Bloomfield with 35 minutes to play in the second half. Dolphins, as we mentioned, or perhaps didn't during our first broadcast of the season, scored for the first time in Game 6 last year. That was the same game in which they picked up their first victory. Have scored twice here in this game, as that's chipped into the penalty area. O'Neal has it. But the Dolphins have scored twice today. Albano, followed by D'Amico, each with their first of the season. CSI now has it in the midfield. Last year, the Dolphins did not win a non-conference game as the left-footed shot by Melgar was blocked, scooped up by O'Neal. I don't think there's any question that in terms of performance on the pitch, this season has gotten off to a far better start than last year for this Dolphins squad. Dolphins did not face St. Michael's last year, did not face Bloomfield last year. The Dolphins will face a team that they faced last season on Tuesday as they take on Felician University. Dolphins played Felician on the road last year. Did not pick up the win in that game. And I think that's going to be a pretty good barometer for where this team stands come Tuesday. As that shot travels high, goal kick, call on the field. Dolphins did play to a scoreless draw in that game against the Golden Falcons, so if they can come away with a win, or at the very least match that draw, that would be a good step in the right direction. On Tuesday, we'll get a look at how much turnover there is on the Bloomfield, or I should say on the Felician roster. Of course, the Bloomfield College Bears and The Golden Falcons share a conference as that's played through to Kolka. Left-footed shot off the post. The post and the crossbar have not been allies of the Dolphins in this game. Rodriguez, cross, in front, header wide by D'Amico. Another scoring chance for this Dolphins team as they continue to put shots toward goal. Unfortunately, those last two not on goal. Two huge chances for CSI. Kolka couldn't believe that her shot hit the post. And the second attempt on the header didn't miss by much. There's the left-footed shot off the post. Rodriguez came in and took it away as the Dolphins may have a chance brewing here. And Melgar's shot is in. Unfortunately, we missed it in the midst of that replay. But the Dolphins have taken a 3-goal lead. We do apologize. Unfortunately, we have no way to get a look at that last replay with the live shot being our instant replay. But Adriana Melgar has scored her first of the season, and the Dolphins now lead it by 3. D'Amico picks up the assist. She now has 3 points in this game. And the Bears can't maintain possession of it along the far side, but the Dolphins here in the second half doing what they're supposed to and taking care of business, playing with a one-woman advantage in this game. After a first half that saw this team come up with a couple of scoring chances, but nothing like we've seen in the second half. Following the intermission, CSI beginning to run away with this game. Carrara enters the game for Uwe here. That's headed back toward midfield, and the Dolphins have it once again. D'Amico met by a strong challenge from Edward. Radavini gains a step, but is dispossessed, moving toward the box. And that is sent on goal and in by Radavini. She took it right back and scores. It looked like the Bears were set to clear it away, but Radavini had other plans, and the Dolphins now lead by 4. We will get a second look at that goal as the Dolphins continue to pile on the goals here in the second half.
Dolphins goal scored by number 10, Isabella Radavini.
There's a look at the shot by Radavini off the takeaway. Radavini was working 2-on-1 as she looked to enter the box, and it looked like the Bears were poised to clear it. Instead, Radavini got it right back and scored. The Dolphins in this game have cycled players on and off the pitch, have made a few substitutions throughout. The Bears haven't had that luxury, and I think we're starting to see that take a toll. That's headed toward D'Amico by Edward, but D'Amico couldn't get to the ball. Radavini for D'Amico. Back to Radavini. Shot, partially deflected. And it's going to be a Dolphins corner here. We've seen the Dolphins score off a set piece already. Their first goal came following a free kick earlier. They will now attempt a corner from the opposite side of goal. Carrara will take it. Rodriguez sends one toward goal with the left foot, and that's saved. Rodriguez smiles toward the spectators after that attempt. those who pay close attention to our Sportsnet intro, Coco sent one on goal from nearly midfield last year. The rebound was mishandled, and that led to a Dolphins goal. Carrara, top of the box. Very unselfish play there. Looked like she was trying to find D'Amico. And the Dolphins will make a pair of substitutions here. Looks like Radavini and D'Amico headed off. I believe Hilke, one of the two players in, along with Nenska Hopushovska. Tough to tell without the binoculars. And those are the correct substitutions. So the Dolphins right now, without most of their starters. Abano still in, Marr still in. As that corner was sent toward the front of goal. Bears trying to clear it away, could not. That one headed by Deck. And now the Bears head back in the other direction. The spectators having a good laugh about that one. Melgar worked past her marker, but couldn't keep it on her foot. Bears looking to move across midfield. Dolphins not making it easy. Evola avoids a pair of challenges, but not a third. Hack sends one toward the far side. Castro giving chase. Castro, Albano, Marr, Evola among the Dolphins starters still in the game, along with Melgar. Carrara also started. Checked in just a couple of minutes back earlier in the second half. We anticipate a water break at some point within the next 5 minutes as we are closing in on the midway point of the second half. Dolphins methodically moving it across their back line. Marr up to Carrara. Carrara moving forward. Has Rodriguez moving up the near side. Rodriguez into the attacking third. Sends one toward the top of the box. It's bodied away by Amador and cleared over the near side. Dolphins throw quickly. Melgar receives it from Rodriguez and sends it right back. And CSI will reset once again. Albano crosses the midfield stripe. Working up the center of the pitch. Deck toward the corner. Pass broken up. Brading Butler had it taken away by Melgar. Albano right back to Melgar. Melgar has room in front of her. Melgar for Deck. Deck ahead to Nenska Hopushovska, but she stopped her run, and that rolls over the touchline. Goal kick for the Bears here with just over 25 minutes to play in half number 2. That one sent well shy of midfield, headed down by Deck, redirected by Hilke, but onto the foot of Edward. She gets it away, and the Bears clear into the midfield. Evola there waiting. Evola works past Hack into the attacking third, has room in front of her. Evola, left-footed shot, just wide. Diving attempt by O'Neal. Unfortunately for the Bears, it was wide of the frame. Not sure it would have mattered, as O'Neal may have gotten there anyway. But we will get a second look at that last shot. Evola with some nice dribbling as we will head to a water break. And with that, we will take a timeout here on CSI Sportsnet. The Dolphins lead the Bears 4-0, 24:40 on the clock in the second half.
You know I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experience as possible.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can. And then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits.
We are just moments away from resuming action here at Dolphin Soccer Park as the College of Staten Island leads Bloomfield by a score of 4-0, 24:40 on the clock in the second half. This is Joe Foreman on the call for CSI Sportsnet. Unfortunately, I have been summoned next door to take care of a stats issue, so we will have sounds of the game until my return to the booth, microphone out the window. When I come back, if it is before the end of the game, I will rejoin you on the call. If not, enjoy the rest of Dolphins and Bears here on CSI Sportsnet, a proud part of the ECC network.
I do, sure.
Jackie. Oh! Handball? No? Nothing? Huh?
Yes. And they're down a player, too, aren't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
They have 9.
They have 9 defense right now.
That's over.
Oh.
That's decent. Something with it now. Oh.
Nice, yes.
Oh. 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 Sure.
Bears goal scored by number 6, Tabitha Wanjiku Mawara. Joe Foreman back with you here on CSI Sportsnet. Dolphins' lead has been trimmed down to 3 goals. Our score now 4-1 in favor of the College of Staten Island. As Bloomfield got on the board for the first time, a high-effort play in the penalty area by Tabitha Wanjiku Mawara, resulting in the first Bloomfield goal. Their first of the 2023 season, their first of this game. Bears have generated a couple of shots on goal since I stepped off headset to help next door, and the stats issue that we had stemmed from them not catching the change at halftime with the goalkeeper being a position player from the first half, that, of course, Ariel O'Neal, Mia Phillip left the game, and they did not catch that in the room next door. So that's what created the issue. And unfortunately, we can't make any changes to our statistics until the game is over. So they're scoring the rest of the game, and we'll get that fixed once the final horn blows down on field level. But the Dolphins appear well on their way to their first victory of the season. I'm sure they would have liked the clean sheet, but if they can hold on to this 3-goal advantage, they'll surely take it. As Emily Albano, or is that Natalie Evela, one of the Dolphins' captains, down. And that's Evela who's down. Nadia waving away a potential substitution from the bench. She'll stay in the game. Curator of the CSI Women's Soccer Playlist and team captain, who will indeed head out of the game here, and that will likely spell an end to her afternoon. At least it appears that way. Evela gingerly walking across the pitch right now. It looked like they did send a substitution in from the bench. Clock has been stopped at 9:40. And Evela will jog off, so her day likely done. Bears over in their bench area hydrating, as many of them have been on the pitch for the entire game. Now, earlier in the half, Alexis Hack did depart the game for a couple of minutes and check back in. At one point, it was radioed up to us that the Bears had 8 players on the field. In fact, they had 9. Once again, that's something we'll get taken care of here at the stats desk at the end of the game. Bears making their way back out onto the pitch now, trailing by 3 goals. Dolphins have 3 of their starting backers in the game, or at least 3 starters on that back line at the moment. Albano and Marr rarely ever come out, and today no different. They're both in the game. Albano played nearly every possible minute last season for this Dolphins team. Marr wasn't far behind her in minutes played. Bears have it, trying to work out of their own end of the field. Hilke takes it away off that touch by Ginyard. Look to send it toward the far side. Amador lost it, but Deck way too strong on that ball intended for Nenska Hopushovska. Bears will throw here. They're looking for somewhere to go with it. They throw short. And it looked like Brittany List took a shot from her own teammate right in the shin. Was hobbled for just a moment. The Dolphins now have it back. Hack toward the center of the pitch. Radavini there waiting. Radavini has room. Moving in toward the box. Shoots. And there was a rebound opportunity, but no Dolphin close enough to make anything of it. O'Neal with the save. 5th save of this match for Bears goalkeeping. The Dolphins with officially 9 shots on goal as we get a second look at that last one. That alternate scoreboard you see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen is from our Huddle Focus camera. The camera provides a look at the venue scoreboard overlaid on the camera feed. We cover that with our East Coast Conference custom scoreboard, but we do have alternate cameras available for instant replay looks should we ever get caught in a replay. Unfortunately, we didn't have that second look earlier when the Dolphins scored 1 goal as we took a look at another. The chances have come quickly for the Dolphins throughout the second half. Attacking plays have developed very quickly throughout these last 37 and a half minutes as Albano chasing this one toward our own goal. Banuelos went down. Albano gets it away. Rodriguez being pressured toward the corner. Sent it off Banuelos. And the Dolphins will now throw in. Whistle blows, and Dolphins looking to make a substitution here. For the first time today, Megan Marr will head off. Well-deserved breather for her. Dolphins defense has allowed just the one goal in this match. 6:40 on the clock. That throw-in travels over several bodies. Radavini wanted another goal-scoring chance there. Was in hot pursuit of that ball. Liss nearly had it taken away. Just outside of the midfield circle. Ginyard's pass intercepted by Rodriguez. She was dispossessed. Here come the Bears again. Good defensive play there by Kolka. Has that sent into the midfield. That ball pinballs around a bit. Bears come down with it. Good dribbling there by Bradding Butler. Looking for somewhere to go with it. Can't find a passing lane. Dolphins closing in, and that ball a bit too strong. Those players who have yet to come out of the game have to be gassed out there for the Bears. Credit to them for all the minutes they've put in today. There are several players for Bloomfield that have not left the pitch in this game. Carrara was met by Edward, now Radavini. Radavini looks to work toward the center of the pitch. Lost it. And that's sent away. Another chance perhaps for the Bears here. Wanjiku Marara was able to get a piece, but not enough. And Villacrest scoops it up. Wanjiku Marara there. Rolled over that one on that shot attempt. Looked like she caught it with the spikes, but couldn't get all of it. As the Dolphins will make another substitution. Adriana Melgar in for Stefania Deck. Under 5 minutes to play in this second half. Villacrest looking and taking her time with it as she plays it over to Albano. Albano has not come out of the game for CSI. Dolphins did cycle a couple of starters back in over the last few minutes as well, so players moving in and out of the game for CSI, even those who have played big minutes since kickoff early on. Amador up the far side. Liss tried to get there, could not. Kolka just got it away. D'Amico, center of the pitch, plays it toward the near side for Rodriguez. Rodriguez for Radavini. Radavini working toward the center of the pitch now. Look to play Nenska Hopushovska through. That's chipped in the air, and O'Neal gets there. Pair of Dolphins being shielded away from that ball as it rolled toward the Bloomfield goalkeeper. 3.5 to play from Dolphins Soccer Park. That's punted out across midfield. And that will roll all the way down into the corner. Albano to Villacrest. Albano avoids a marker, moving up the near side, has some room. Directing traffic. Hilke wants Radavini. Edward is there. Looks like she may have to clear it, shielding Radavini off the ball. And that rolls over the near side. Throw in Bears. Ginyard will throw. It's headed toward midfield. A pair of Dolphins waiting. Rodriguez first to it. Pass with the heel to Albano. Rodriguez gets it back. Melgar. Moving toward the attacking third, stops, finds D'Amico. D'Amico toward goal, and saved by O'Neal. Just over 2 minutes to play from the College of Staten Island now. O'Neal and the Bears will certainly take their time here. Dolphins now with double digits. Shots on goal. Nobody wanted that ball. Albano for Radavini. Radavini looking. Sends one towards Nenska Hopushovska. She plays it back to Castro, and getting to it first was Bradding Butler, who clears over the far side. Just over a minute and a half to play from Dolphins Soccer Park now. Carrara avoids a challenge. Finds Radavini. Radavini tried to avoid her marker, could not. Dolphins will throw. 1:20 to go. Rodriguez for Albano. Albano surveys. D'Amico. Back to Kolka. Dolphins looking to move through the midfield here. Melgar. Looking. Sends one over to Rodriguez. Rodriguez toward the center of the pitch. Nobody home. Under a minute to play in the second half. Final 40 seconds from Dolphins Soccer Park. Rodriguez moving ahead with some speed, looking to play Carrara through, and the flag was up. So nothing would have come of that ball had the Dolphins connected. Whistle has been blown. Free kick for Bloomfield following the offsides. That's sent up the pitch by Amador.
8, 5, 4, 3.
Bit of a miscue there on the countdown, but that will get us to the finish as the Dolphins win it by 3. Our final score, the College of Staten Island 4 and Bloomfield College 1. CSI improves to 1-0-1 on the season, and the Bears will open their season 0-1 for the Dolphins, a 4-goal effort on their home turf today in the second of 4 consecutive non-conference home games to open up their season. The next of those will be played in just 2 days on Tuesday afternoon as CSI will host Felician University. Be sure to tune into that game right here on CSI Sportsnet. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman, and from all of us here at the College of Staten Island, thank you for watching. If you missed it, check out our newest episode of the Dolphin Pod over at our CSI Sportsnet YouTube channel. That new episode premiered during our pregame today ahead of this women's soccer matchup. Until next time, thanks for watching. We'll see you on Tuesday.